some viewers who get more channels with a converter box, and this is the converter box right here. And this picks up the digital signal that will now be sent out. Now, others worry about not being able to get a signal even with a converter box and antenna. With digital, it's not fuzzy. You either see it or you don't. We checked in with H.H. Gregg on Clinton Highway in North Knoxville. That store says it sells more converter boxes than any other H.H. Gregg store in 9 states. And right next to those converter boxes are new antennas, which may help some people make the switch.
We strongly suggest to you to upgrade your rabbit ears. Chances are you haven't upgraded them in years anyway. If you go to an amplified set of rabbit ears where, you know, there's a power source going to your indoor antenna, you're going to be able to receive a little better signal as well.
Now, WBIR's chief engineer has a few suggestions for people not seeing everything they want to see with their converter boxes. First, retune the antenna, then rescan for channels. If you still don't see anything, you may want to consider an antenna upgrade, one with a power source. Also, check out this website, antennaweb.org. You can enter your address, and it will tell you exactly what type of antenna is best for your area. Now, the manager of the H.H. Gregg store says about 40% of shoppers looking at electronics have questions about the switch to DTV. They say they do their best to help people understand they do not have to buy a new TV, just a converter box perhaps. And based on our conversations today, it seems people are catching on.
Well, right now we only have one TV that we would have to switch, and since it's a small TV in our kitchen, we're just going to not worry about fixing it. But the rest of our TVs are all hooked up on cable, so we're okay with those.
Cable and satellite customers will be okay in February. Those providers are doing all the work to make sure those viewers will still be able to watch TV. Now, as promised, we have brought to you a pair of experts here in our studio to break down what you need to know about the switch to digital television and how it works. We have Russell Bird here from Comcast Cable and Dan Thompson from RM Technologies. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming in. So again, let's talk about this first. What exactly, Dan, maybe this is a good question for you, what exactly is changing when it comes to how we get our television signals?
Essentially, it's a signal change, which, you know, can get kind of heady into a technical discussion. But if you kind of think of it, if you're home, if you switch from gas heat to electric heat, it's the same kind of idea. You're just switching mediums. At the end of the day, you're accomplishing the same task. So basically, what we're going to need to do is look at what you're using now to get TV. And specifically, that's if you're using the rabbit ears or if you've got that big antenna outside your house, you're going to have to get a converter box.
Because people are going to be receiving their signal digitally instead of analog,
yes,
because that's all that's going to be available is digital.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you know, so a couple other caveats, and Russell's going to speak to that, I'm sure. But if you've got cable, this doesn't really apply to you. If you've got satellite, this doesn't apply to you unless you're using the rabbit ears or the big antenna to still get your local channels.
Okay, and 60% of our viewers do use cable. And so why doesn't this affect cable viewers?
Well, because Comcast is going to take your signal and the other broadcast signals, and we're going to down convert them from digital back to analog and send that out through our cable system to all of our customers. So if they're connected to cable today, every TV in their house, then on February the 17th, 4 months from now, they'll still be able to see all of their favorite channels and their favorite broadcast networks.
So you're making sure that they can still watch TV the way they always have?
That's correct. We've ordered all the equipment. We're in the process of installing all that equipment and testing it as we speak. And 4 months from now, when February 17th gets here, we'll be absolutely ready for it.
Do cable companies, or customers rather, have to buy anything to be able to still watch?
No, our customers just need to be connected to cable. They don't need a digital box. There's no equipment that our customers need. Now, we do have digital products and services and high definition.
You have digital cable.
That's right.
But that's different.
That's different. If
okay.
they want that, then they can subscribe to it. But no box is required whatsoever.
Okay.
And like I said, the only thing is if you have a TV in your house that's not connected to cable and you're using rabbit ears or an outside antenna, that TV will be affected.
Okay. And so that's the situation through February.
That's correct.
One quick question, I don't know if either of you can answer this. We heard this from several of our viewers online today. They're wondering, why are the commercials that seem to be airing so much, why are they airing on cable when it doesn't affect those customers? I don't know if you have any way of answering that.
Well, one thing is, you know, we answer telephone calls in Knoxville for the entire state of Tennessee. And we want all of our customers to know that if they have cable with Comcast, they're okay.
Okay.
So
it's
we're
more of an
running,
educational, informational
That is absolutely
kind of
right. And there is one last thing, that customers don't need to buy a new TV either.
Yeah,
If they have a TV now and it's connected to cable or another broadband provider, then they'll be okay. So they don't have to buy a new TV.
Because you're sending out the old type of signal and the new type of signal.
That is correct.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming into our information center this afternoon to discuss that. Hopefully, we are making things very clear for people here at home.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and we will be right back with more 10 News.